In this video I'm going to strip out the stator, the magnet and the clutch on this T140V Bonneville. If you're following the playlist, next minute or so might not be that exciting, but I'll say it anyway every time. It's going to be a Resta mod. Desert sled scrambler style bike. It's a 75 build for a 76 year. I'm really excited about this one and I do want it going in the spring. At the moment I'm working my way through the engine mainly because I want to clean the sludge trap. The stator's held on with 1/2 inch self-locking nuts going through. The two longer ones hold the cover on. The back one's just for the stator itself. So you need a fairly deep socket and it needs to be able to fit in at the side here. Should be okay. Might need to put a bit more onto this. There we go, that's the one. That's two. And that's three. So I should be able to get them off quite easily. I might even resort to a power tool. And there's washers as well, and if you don't move them now they will get caught on the threads, so it's worth having a go at. Already had one and I just got one down here. Observant people have noticed that this wire that actually takes the power from the generator up towards the battery. Now in my experience these grommets here, there's no way of getting these plugs through them in any sensible way. So rather than keep fighting, you might as well just cut these off now and accept you're going to put new ones on afterwards. It seems to be the only way. And even with that, it's still a wrestling match to get it through. So I'm going to move you and get on with it. See, I told you. Or did I? Yeah, there we go. Now, I think this is a single phase stator. And like I said, some damage to the resin here. And obviously it is resin and this is steel. You don't want to break it getting out in case you want to reuse it. It's also, there's a magnet in the middle that's holding it. So sometimes they will just come out very easily and other times you need to give them a bit more persuasion. Another issue you might have is these can be bent, and if they are, then you know, a bit more persuasion. This actually looks not too bad. Oh, not too bad at all, he said as it stops. Now another option you have is to actually unscrew that as well from the case. So I may just give that a go. You are going to take these out anyway, so you know, doing it a bit early doesn't really hurt. Must be bent slightly, did you see it? How it twiddled when I turned this. There we go, I think it's coming now. He said. Or maybe not. I think I'm fighting the magnet as well. See, the magnet's pulled it back on. Oh, it's hilarious. Come on. Oh, here we go. Brought that with it. Now I just have to wipe my gloves off so I can turn the camera off. Oh, just put this to one side to be looked at later, and then I'll take the other two out. And just in case I didn't say, they're a 1/2 inch. And next, it's for this big nut off the end of here and to take that off. The magnet. First things first is there's a tab washer that's had a bit of life. I'd like to think I'll use a new one, but we'll see. There are plenty of special tools that you can get to put in here to stop it going round. Obviously, if it was on the bike still, you could put it in gear and put your foot on the rear brake. I'm just going to use this, and hopefully it'll be enough. Oops, I do want it to be nice and stable. That's looking good. Wasn't too hard, was it? Now you do have to be cautious you don't break the teeth off the drum. So if it starts looking like it's putting up a big fight, you give up before it does. This pushes in, and there is a washer, and this isn't likely to just drop off, although sometimes they do. Let me just give it a little tweak. Oh, in case I didn't mention, that was a 15/16. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and dig out a puller, I think. And while I was sorting out my puller and making sure it will go behind, guess what happened? It came loose. I've actually pushed it back on. There we go. So I didn't even need to use that. Now let's take that off. And it's a fairly strong magnet. Out it comes, and there is a keyway on here, and we need to make sure we do keep sight of the keyway just to get it moving. There we go, and there's the key. With the magnet and the key off, now I can turn my attention to the clutch. Now this is the pressure plate on the outside, and it has 3 springs, and they have like a slotted screw that goes into them. Now, some time ago I made myself something that will work on this. I promised myself I'll get a better tool for it, but for the moment I'm going to have to dig that out. It took me a while to uncover my special British bike tools. Make sure it don't fall. Oh, and look at that. Spent 4 hours looking for that the other day. Never thought to look in here. Obvious, really. But the one I am looking for is this. And it isn't wonderful, but it will work. They have a little notch on them, which make them a little bit tough to turn around. The reason this keeps spinning is you might see a little notch there, and that catches on the end of the spring. These are under spring pressure. When it catches, it wants to turn it around. You might also notice that to give me a little bit more, so I'm not having to, I can press in with one hand and twiddle with the other. Should have made a better tool, shouldn't I? Definitely will buy one before I put it together. Go on. There we go, and once it's past that little notch, it isn't a problem till it gets to the notch again. However, as you notice, it's come past the screw there now, so I can start on the next one. And this one's coming out sweet. I told you this seal puller was a handy tool. with those undone, this should just pull off. There we go. That's the clutch push rod. So get a pick and I should be able to look at pulling them out. Once I take the plates out, the middle barrel will spin separately to the top, and you do have a special tool that I haven't got. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and undo that nut now. I think that all the plates are stuck. They might be stuck enough to hold it, and if not, I'll free them up. It'll make them easier to come out. And also I'll just lock that up a little bit. I'm going to try first with a fairly weak impact gun. Just checking, it is a standard thread, so it does want to come undone that way. Well, that didn't want to play. Let's just see if this will make it move. They are stuck. Here's a 7/8. Oh, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Right, so I've got that free. I won't take it all the way off yet. Yeah, I should be able to get those later. For the steel one. Oh, so it's moving. Now sometimes right, I think you get the idea of this. I'll have a twiddle and see if anything interesting turns up along the way. Another method is using magnets, and these are stupidly powerful magnets actually. You can hurt your fingers with them, but look, we are getting there. Now it looks like the biggest problem is this is in the way. Let's see. Oh, we're getting a few out at a time, I think. Probably get the entire clutch pack out. Oh, see that? That hurts. Right, I'll give them a bit of a tap, and I'm sure I'll get them loosened up and take them out a few at a time. These magnets are phenomenal. Oh, there we go. Cool. Don't ask me. I found them somewhere years ago and they've been stuck on my toolbox ever since. I know you want some. Right, I think that's the last one. Although they're stuck, they don't actually look worn out. They're not new though by any stretch, and clutch plates are one of the things I think I definitely will be changing. First sight, the clutch drum, outer drum, looks okay. If I run a scriber along it, it feels smooth. You can see where the discs have been, but you know, you can sometimes get these like the edges of a scallop shell or something. That feels absolutely fine. Unfortunately, at first sight though, the same can't be said for the central clutch drum. You don't know, you can hear that. That seems very worn. I suspect I'll have to replace that. You can sometimes file them and get them smooth, but usually when they're like that, it's time for a new one. Now at this stage, what I need to do next is take this central clutch hub off, undoing the nut here, and then I think I need to use a special tool. There'll be loads of roller bearings falling around. Then I need to pull the front primary sprocket with a two-legged puller, and then all of that should come off and I can put it down there. So I'm going to take this off first, then that, and then we'll see how we go. Not sure, because I can't remember the last time. I think it was a right-hand shift, whether this caused a problem or not. And at the moment, it looks like it does. There's the clock. Racing it. I won. I think there's a washer and things in there. Not for rushing out, is it? If you put 3 of these, it's actually pulling my hand towards the engine, but you can use it to put magnetism into something else. And just, can you see how this is, you know, it's crazy. Anyway, still can't get that washer out, so I'll work that out in a second. Still struggling to get this out. I've brake cleaned it, I've heated it, brake cleaned it again, and I can hear that it is now, I think, loose. It sounds like it's not fully fastened on any. Oh, I've got it moving. Still not for coming out, is it? No, don't want that to get caught. And you can see they're quite brittle, these magnets. Can't tell you how long this has actually taken just to get that out. God, that's annoying, and it's still warm. Having fought to get that washer out, there's absolutely no way of taking this off now without a special tool. And basically, this screws into some threads that were behind that washer, and you tighten this one down and hold this one. You screw that in, you hold this one, you screw that one down, and it pulls it out. Now, I'd like something to cover that. I haven't got anything, and it's not, the tool's not even made to allow for it. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure this is backed off as far as I can. Get this in, and you want it in as many threads as you can, but be aware you won't get it in hundreds. The likelihood is, let me get a spanner for this. On the tool that I've got, it's a 1 inch. So I do want to try to tighten it up as much as I can. because you want it on as many threads as you can. And I think that's about it. And then this is a 5/16 on this tool. Is this going to pull out, or is it just going to destroy the threads? Oops. We're in. Feels tight already, I'll be honest. I don't think this is a... It's not having fun. I'm going to put a bit of heat into that, just to try and give it a little bit more of a... Just want to see if I can. So where one of those locking tools would be good. No, I think that's in as far as I'm going to get it. So let's have another go. That is really taking an effort, let me tell you. Rather than keep squeezing, I'm just going to back off, take some time out, and we'll have another look at it. Taken it off, cleaned it all out again, got it on as many threads as I can. I've heated the outside, having used brake cleaner on the inside. So it's as good as it's getting at the moment. You can't heat this too much because there are some rubber dampers inside, so you don't really want to do it too much. Tell you what I can do though. I can, oops. At least put that like that. That's not going anywhere in a rush. Let's see. I'm just gonna hopefully give it a little bit of a shock or something. Might not do anything, but just, you know, hopefully. Always look what you're going to punch. I really can't say I'm proud of this. You can see how much force I'm putting into that. Right. I'm a bit worried that I'm going to break something here. So I'm going to take a break. Either it's broken or it's coming off, I'm not sure which. That certainly feels a lot easier than it was. So my guess is it's broken. And I'm right, look at that. Hell. That wasn't the way I was hoping this video would end, but hey, when you're working on an old British bike, all bets are off. Couple of things. I was always concerned about this tool, but last time I used it, which was a few years ago, it worked a treat, and an engine that looked considerably worse than this. I'm ordering a new one now, and hopefully one that's better quality than this. It might be that it was my fault and I didn't get it in quite enough threads and should have put more effort into that. I hold my hands up, you know, we're not perfect, but last time came off really good on a different engine. I've also looked again at the outer and inner clutch drums, and I think they both probably need replacing now that I've looked at them a little bit further. Also the clutch plates themselves, sometimes you get away with reusing the steels, but they do look a little bit damaged, so I'm going to have to get rid of the new steels as well. So it all adds expense. The worst bit though is the clutch being in the state it's in makes me worry about what I might find as I get further in. Hopefully nothing, but I was hoping that when the work had been done on the top end of this engine, it'd also been done at the bottom. Apparently it hasn't. Oh, certainly not on the clutch. So next video I'll have a new tool. I'm going to use my old clutch plates to make a locking tool. I'd rather do that than spend the money on one, to be honest. So that's at least one good thing about those plates. And hopefully in the next video you'll see me getting all of that off and inspecting the parts and showing you what I actually did find. Like I said, I'm hoping to make them into 10-minute chunks. I think this one's probably going to end up a bit longer than that, and you won't believe how much time it took to get that washer out. These are the things that you can't already mandate. So when you're saying this will take me this long, it can actually take you a lot longer. Now I know in workshops, you know, sometimes they have to suck up the fact they can't get a washer out and spend an hour on taking it out. You know, be a bit forgiving on any workshop that you've got working on these old engines. Even with their skills and their tools, some things will just come back and bite them. Anyway, that's it for now. See you next time.